Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Alpha Access EverQuest Next Landmark. My name is Strahz and here we are, back in the world of Landmark. And we're going to do a little video here on getting started. What happens when you first log in for the first time, what gear you can expect to find when you open up your inventory, what types of metals and resources you're going to need to get started right away. So let's not mess around, let's dive right in. So when you first log in, you're going to notice that you're going to be spawned right next to this structure here. I'm just calling it the Teleportation stone for, I guess that's just what I'm calling it. Just about everybody will spawn near here. If you look on the map, you can see this is the icon. And then if we zoom out, pretty easy to spot. It's a nice little gathering area for folks who want to meet up, say hello, do a little bit of mingling, all that good stuff. So what else here? If we open up our inventory, and depending on the packs you purchase, there's the Trailblazers pack, the Explorer pack, and the Settler pack. The Settler pack. The Settler pack will set you back $19.99, and that will get you into the closed beta. And that looks like it's starting in March 31st of this year. If you buy into the Trailblazer pack or the Explorer pack, that'll get you into the alpha as of right now. The Explorer pack is $59.99 and the Trailblazer pack is $99.99. So what's the difference? What are you going to get if you go for the more expensive one? I went with the Trailblazer pack, and I can give you a quick look at the items I got by going that route. So if we take a look, first off, everyone's going to get this Trailblazer flag, which you plant on your claim. You don't have to, but it's like a nice little piece, little landscape piece to show off your claim. You'll also start with a Founder's Pickaxe. Actually, everybody's going to start off with one of these. It's basically a tier 1 pick and a tier 1 axe combined. It also has a higher speed and damage value than these default stone tools that you could start off with if you don't go for any of these packs. Now, I have done some testing, and this Founder's Pickaxe is definitely faster and does a bit more damage, just like it says, compared to these stone tools. And what else do you start with? You also start off with this potion here, Alpha Boost Potion. This potion will grant you a 20% bonus to collecting resources for 2 weeks of real time. You'll also come in with a Void Vault, which is basically your personalized bank. If you end up running out of space in your inventory, you can store stuff in here. You'll also probably start off here with some standing torches, which will help light up your claim at night. And then you're also going to start with some clothes here, some gear. What I'm wearing here is the Tech Commander's gear for the Trailblazers pack. Open up our character sheet by hitting H real quick. You can see it here. And the other piece of clothing you're going to get with the Trailblazers pack is the Noble's Regalia, which looks like this. It's not too bad. It's looking pretty sweet. Pretty styling. I dig it. If you go with the Explorer pack, you won't have access to the Tech Commander's gear or the Noble's Regalia. Instead, you're going to be getting these. The Tech Sergeant's gear. It's a little less flashy, but it's still cool. And then you'll also get the Quarter's Regalia. It's kind of like looking like a pirate. It's kind of sweet. Definitely sort of a medieval fantasy feel to it. Pretty cool. You'll also get a title, so if you come up here you can switch to Founder or Trailblazer. I like setting it to Trailblazer just because, I just feel like it. Sounds kind of cool. You're also going to get some jewelry. Pick up the Mastercraft Bracer. It gives you a bonus to crafting, making crafted items more likely to be of high quality. You'll also receive a Ring of Bounty. It gives you a 10% bonus to resource gathering while worn, and that definitely comes in handy. I'll explain a little bit about that in a minute here. You're also going to start off with these basic tools for modifying and terraforming your claim. The Add tool, the Delete tool, and I believe the Heal tool. The Selection tool I actually had to craft and progress and gather materials for this guy, but this Selection tool is a lifesaver. It basically allows you to select large areas or small areas within your claim, delete, heal, all that kind of stuff. It's it really speeds up the time that it takes to craft something cool on your claim. that's basically the starter items. One other thing it's obviously missing is your claim flag. So we can dive right into that real quick. If we take a look at the map, you can see all these gray boxes here with these outlines. If you zoom in on one, let's go over here to this mountain. We check out this mountain. This smaller square is actually someone's claim. I can't create or destroy anything within that small box. The larger box outside it is a safety zone, so that the person who puts this claim here has access to the minerals around it. The reason they did that is that they didn't want pretty much everybody to be able to come over here, throw down a small claim right next to each other, and if you can imagine, you know, 10, 20, hundreds of these little claims stacked right up against each other, that would basically eat up the entire map of resources, and no one would be able to farm materials or gather or harvest or anything like that, because while you're on your claim, you cannot harvest the materials, especially on somebody else's claim, excuse me. So that would kind of suck. You'd have all these claims, but no one would be able to gather resources. So that's why they added this larger area around your inner claim, so that you had some space here to gather up ores and wood and all that good stuff. And also, if you notice too about the map, it's 3D. I think that's pretty awesome. It's actually pretty damn accurate. And if we also look up here at the top, it shows you permissions, which I don't believe that is working just yet. This, I believe, is intended to show you which areas of the map you can claim on. In the meantime, you've got no permissions. You got to pretty much use this. If I click that off and on, you can see the areas where people have already claimed spots. Looks like there's some open area out on the outer edges of the map. This used to be a lot worse. I mean, there was, until the servers were opened up with more zones, I mean, you could probably double the amount of squares you would see here. I mean, everything was just stacked. The population was so heavy in these areas, but they've opened up a lot of one more extra server with more zones, so we've got way more space. So space is becoming less and less of an issue. It's just a matter of trying to find that ideal spot you want. And then we also have the My Claims check. I'm not on my current zone map, so it's not going to show up here. But if you click that, you'll see your claim light up here on the map. So that's the map in a nutshell. Take a look around. We can also come up here to game settings. You can view your own claim, view friendly claims, and if we click this guy, view stranger claims, we can see what we just saw on the map. Turn those back on. So what we're looking at is this outer square box we see on the map. We can now see in the world. And that can help you, better visualize, where people have claims and where you might be able to plop down your own claim. With that said, first time you get into the game, I highly recommend going into your inventory, taking your claim flag, which will look similar to this, throwing it down in your hotbar, checking out the map, turning on the no permissions, and then trying to find, like something over here. Nope, that actually looks, let's see here, that's not going to work. You're basically looking for spots in between these larger boxes where you can throw down your small claim area. I say small, but it's a pretty decent chunk. Let's see here. Yep, there's that. And unfortunately, I've already laid down my claim flag, so I can't show you. But it's pretty straightforward. Throw down the claim flag here in your hotbar, hit the number key, or just click on it, and you're going to get a box similar to this, although it'll be highlighted and have it'll be a little bit more shiny with some prettier graphics. And then you can move that box around here in 3D space. Then once you've selected or you found a spot that you like, you just left click and it brings up another window. Let's see, is it working? No, it's not working. Let's see if I can bring it up here. There we go. You'll get a window something like this that says, are you sure you want to place a claim here? You just say yes. Throws it down. You can also adjust the height and depth of where that claim goes. It's not default set to the ground. Like, this person could have gone probably, I'd say, almost twice as high and twice as below. So you could do caves, you could do massive towers, things like that. Completely adjustable. Also, keep in mind, like I said, this is early alpha, and one of the things big on their list is to make that entire system more user-friendly. Because, I mean, looking at this from the map, it's not, I mean, it's sort of clear, but it could be streamlined way more, and I think that's on their table, on their to-do list. So that'll definitely be coming, depending on when you jump in. A lot of that stuff could be cleaned up. Alright folks, so that's what you spawn with. We checked out the gear, we checked out your tools, checked out your bank vault, your claim flag, how to make a claim. And if I get another claim flag, I'll definitely do a video to show you guys, but there's a couple out there already, so if you're super curious, you can definitely find one. I'm going to quickly turn this off, because seeing these gray boxes is kind of annoying. Let's go check out our teleportation stone. I'll explain a little bit about that. Ooh, there we go. Alright. So here at the teleportation stone, you can transfer to different servers and different zones. So if you just left click here, you can see here, ley line station. You can choose between the 3 different servers. Before there were only 2, they just recently added Serenity. And once you click on a server, you can choose which tier, which zone you'd like to go into. Right now I'm in a tier 1 zone. I don't know if you can see that in the upper left hand corner. Right now there's a bug. It should say the name of the server and the name of the zone and then the tier. But right now it's saying unnamed name, unnamed world, and then dome. So it's getting the zone right, but it's just not registering the server. And I'm sure that'll be fixed pretty soon. But basically all you have to do is select the server, select the zone, hit confirm, and your character will be teleported to another ley line station on that zone. Also bear in mind, oop, there's my grappling hook. I love that thing. I'll show you that here in a minute. Every ley line station is going to have one of these crafting stations. So if we open that up, you can see all the basic stuff you can craft. I found that having this crafting station here right next to the ley line station came in pretty damn handy because it takes quite a bit of materials to actually craft one of your own. So if we take a look at the stone forge requirements, we need 10 elemental copper, 15 copper ingots, and 2,000 stone. That stuff isn't ridiculously difficult to get. It'd probably take you 10-15 minutes at the most, okay? Alright, maybe 20. The hardest part would be getting this elemental copper as it's a rare drop, but it does drop fairly frequently, and I can show you that here in a minute. So when you're first getting started after you've claimed your claim, I definitely recommend, depending on how far away you are from this ley station, if you're like way out here, making your way back here, and as you're making your way back, start mining copper and tin and trees, because you're going to need it. And speaking of getting that material, why don't we just show that real quick? I touched on it lightly in the last episode, but if we run over here, actually, you know what? I'm going to change my gear. I'm just not feeling that style. Alright. That's the gear I prefer. It looks pretty cool. Alright, let's find some copper. And if we look at the map real quick, we can see, and my guy's he's just keeping on running. There we go. Take a look at the map. We can also see these ore veins from the map view, which is kind of nice. And unfortunately right now, you can't mine ore and materials within a certain radius of this ley station here. And I think they did that because some people were actually trolling the area and found out where people were spawning and then dug a huge hole. So when you first spawned into the game and you didn't know what was going on, you were stuck in a hole. And that wasn't cool. Luckily they implemented this reset to ground feature, which if that does happen, it'll teleport your guy back to the surface. And then I think they widened the radius of where you can mine from and where you can't mine from near the ley station. There's always a way, there's always a troll, so it happens. I'm sure it was funny for about 10 minutes. But anyway, let's go find some copper. Yeah, there's some. Let's equip our pickaxe. Oh, there's also some gems right next to it. Sweet. So a quick tip on the getting started here. You're going to need lots of copper, lots of tin, as I mentioned. You're also going to need lots of wood. But usually, these main mineral veins, like copper, iron, etc., copper will lead into tin about 9 times out of 10. So if we dig down, let's see if we can find some. Diggy hole, diggy diggy hole. Here we go. And as you can see in my my chat box here in the lower left, you see I'm getting the dirt, copper ore, and I'll probably hit stone at some point. Also, as a UI quick note, if you hold down Shift and middle mouse wheel, it zooms your character, or excuse me, your camera in and out. I didn't realize that till about day 2. I think somebody mentioned it in chat, or actually I think I found that by trial and error. It just sort of happened. I'm like, oh, how did I do that? Okay, here we go. There it is. There's the tin. And I don't know if you can see here. Did I get any? Ah, there we go. Elemental copper. That is a rare resource. If we open up our inventory, see it listed here. Where are you? There it is. Elemental copper. And you're going to need that stuff to craft some of the higher tier stuff. And you're definitely going to need the rare component of wood, and lots of it, for the pickaxes. I'll explain that in a little bit, but that's definitely one of the things that they're tweaking numbers-wise of what's required for what sort of item you're trying to craft, and I can definitely agree, it definitely needs some tweaking. But there it is, there's the tin vein. We dug through the copper and we got through the tin vein. We got some elemental tin, some tin ore, we're good to go. And if you find yourself dug into a hole and it's healed up behind you, which is kind of doubtful, unless you go super, super deep, or if you just don't feel like digging yourself way back out, you just hit escape here and go reset the ground. And there we go, we're back on the surface. Okay, and real quick, I just wanted to quickly compare the difference between the starter pick and the one you've gotten through the founder pack that you bought, if you go that route. So, founder's pickaxe, I'll just equip this guy. Actually, you know what? That may not be that big of a difference. If we go over here to my silver steel, I've crafted all the way up to silver steel pick. And let's see, where is that guy? Maybe there it is. 105.22 size, basically the area that I harvest from in the ore veins that I'm mining. It has 77 speed, 61.73 damage. Now let's take a look at the stone pick. 55 speed, 45 size, 30 damage. There is quite a bit of difference. So if I equip this guy, which I already did down there, put it in my number 3 spot. Let's take a look. We'll hit 3. Now I'm going to start mining with the tier 1, lowest of the tier pickaxes. And he's sort of plodding away. And it's not quite high enough in stats to even get this gem mineral here. But you can see it's pretty slow. A little bit cumbersome, definitely slower. Now I'm going to equip the silver steel pick. And then we'll check that out. Yeah, much faster. I can obviously mine tier 1 items. So copper and tin, as I said, is tier 1 materials. And then I believe we can go all the way up to tier 5 with our pickaxes. So you want to definitely be in a tier 3 zone to get that stuff. So now that you've got plenty of copper, tin, and wood, what I highly recommend is coming back here, like I said. Scoot on over back here. Hopefully you've crafted, hopefully you've gathered enough resources to make one of your own crafting stations. And that's the goal. You definitely want to have your own. So you don't have to keep coming back here to this, depending how far your claim is. I mean, if you unfortunately have to make a claim way out here in the boondocks, you're going to have to keep running back and forth to be able to craft stuff, and that's definitely going to be time consuming, probably a little boring, and not a whole lot of fun. So, as I mentioned, go out and make your claim. On the way back, start gathering lots of materials. Coming back here, by the time you've done all that, you should have enough material to come on down here to the crafting station and craft your own stone forge. The requirements, the hardest part would definitely be the elemental copper, but as you can see, just about every ore vein I run into, if I completely dig it out, then I get at least, I'm going to say anywhere from 2 to 5 of these rare elemental copper and elemental ore type bits that you need. And then once you've got that, you're ready to craft your stone forge. I'd move on to the copper reinforced saw table, as that's going to refine the wood that you find. And the reason you're going to need that is because of this guy. If we take a look at the bronze pick, which is a tier 2, I believe, it needs 5 burled wood planks. And that is the rare resource from chopping down trees. Now, to explain the amount we're talking about here, to get 5 burled wood planks, you would need 500 burled wood pieces of wood, essentially. So that's a lot of harvesting. That's a lot of chopping down trees. And I think I showed you guys that last video, but let's run over here to this tree and see if we can't scrounge some up. There we go. I'm gonna hit 2. Bring up my axe. Let's see if we get any. Plain wood logs, some jute. Okay. There it is. There we go. We got 5 so far. And you can see in the top of my screen here the health of this particular tree. When that bar depletes, obviously the tree is gone and you can't harvest from it anymore until it grows back. That wasn't a bad haul. What did we get? Let's see. We got 3, 2, 5, 8, and 11. So it's not too bad. That's about the odds I've gotten. But still, 500. Keep that in mind. You're going to need 500 to be able to make 5 of the burled wood planks. So you can craft the next tier of your pick. So you can go out and get tier 2 gems and minerals. And again, like I mentioned, these numbers are all in flux. And I'm sure they're going to be tweaking this as time goes on, as we give more and more feedback, and as I hear more disgruntled people complaining about grind and all that kind of stuff. It hasn't bothered me too much, but it's definitely a little bit of a grind. I'm sure they can definitely improve it. So after you focus on that, you've got your crafting benches, you've got your stone forge here, and then your wood saw table. And that's the part I would highly recommend doing next, is upgrading your pick, so you can start getting the next tier resources. Because what you eventually want to do is be able to get up to marble forge. And the reason I emphasize that is because with this stone forge, you're going to be able to make these claim tools. Tools that you're going to need to sculpt and, well, do whatever your heart's content on your claim. So as I mentioned before, we already started with the add, delete, and heal tool. But the selection tool, I had to gather the resources for to craft it. And I can assure you the selection tool is a lifesaver. It definitely cuts down the amount of time it takes to place voxels on the ground and delete voxels and mirror things and all that kind of stuff. And I think you're also going to need it to make a template from your claim. And we'll get into that a little bit in the next episode. But as you can see, only with the tier 1 stone forge, we can only do these tools. If we have the marble forge, we'll have access to other tools such as the smooth tool, and I think there's something for like painting textures and stuff like that. So you definitely want to start unlocking those. It's going to take a little bit of time, but it'll definitely be worth it. All right, so there's a quick recap, and real quick, what I also highly recommend, we'll go to back to our crafting station here, is saving up for one of these grappling hooks. You're going to need 20 elemental tin. That could take you a little bit of time. I think it took me about half hour, 45 minutes or so of just hunting around for some copper veins to dig down into the tin and then find enough of the elemental tin to have enough to craft this. You also need the ingots, but those will be pretty easy to get. Once you do have it though, it's awesome. E. There, we can even hang on to the side of mountaintops and mountainsides and start mining away. I don't know. I think that's pretty cool. It also helps as navigating around on the map. Teleport you almost. It's just a lot of fun to have. I don't know if you checked out any of Force's videos, but that guy runs around with the grappling hook like a monkey. He's become a pro. It's pretty sweet. Alright, well I think that'll do it for just getting started. Like I said, just to quickly recap. As soon as you start, equip your gear, whatever gear you'd like. Run out there, hit M to find the map, and then go find your claim. Find a spot. Find the home away from home. And you might have to come back to this lay station here and jump around in the zones to find something you might that really tickles your fancy. So don't be afraid to teleport. And don't be afraid to be choosy, because they're going to be adding more zones. You can pick up your claim and move it anytime you'd like. So don't be too worried about that. So yeah, once you've done that, go get your claim on the way back, start mining some resources, and then start building your forges, and then start upgrading your picks. And then if you are really feeling adventurous, get on top of that grappling hook, because it is a ton of fun. Alright folks, that'll do it for this episode. If you enjoy the content, please feel free to subscribe. It's free. And yeah, that'll do it. Till next time folks, my name is Strahz, and we'll see you soon.